Hi, everybody. It's Dee Slater with Create with Dee. Welcome to our Wednesday night live at 5. And I hope that everybody's having a great time here tonight. Um, I have a fun class here that I wanted to share with you tonight. It's an easy way of making a slider card. So before we get started, I do want to point out here that if this is something that you would like to make at home, the kit to go is free with a minimum order of a $35 with using my host code here on my online store, dslater.stampinup.net, if you're interested. Okay, I'll go ahead and turn the camera around to just the project and we'll be getting started. But as you come on, I'd love for you to say hi, give a thumbs up, give a wave, whatever you'd like to do so that I know that you're here. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. All righty. So the slide card that I'm showing how to make here tonight, it's a real easy little slider. And let's see here, trying to do this. You just pull this out and it slides. Look how cute that is. So I'll be sharing with you how to make this 3 different ways, and it's the different positions here, and I'll show you this. All of them here before we go here too. But I'm going to say hi to Doreen and Jeanne. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so this is one slider card here. The other one is that of how to position it so that it pulls up and slides. It looks really complicated, but Stampers, it's not. I'll show you how easy it is. And then here's double one, where we've got 2 bumblebees going up the flower. So I had so much fun making this, and I hope that you enjoy class too here tonight. Okay, we are going to make this cute rhino card here first. Let me get some things out here and get organized. Get my trimmer. We are going to need a trimmer here. Hi, Linda. Hope you're having a great time in the state of Texas. All right, so we are going to need our paper trimmer because we need to cut the slider slit on it. So have your paper trimmer handy when you get ready to make these. And all of the cards have the same base to get started, and then it's just different cut lines is going to be the different ones. So all of the card bases that we're going to do here tonight, we'll start with a standard card base of 8.5 by 5.5, and along the 8-inch side we're going to score it at 4 and at 8. The inside pull out card here on all of them have the same size of 3 3/4 by 5. And then the outside layer is 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. And then we're going to need some little tabs, and these are kind of like scrap little strips, so they're approximately 1/2 inch by 2.5. All right, so if you go back to make these cards, you can freeze or pause on this and write down all of those dimensions. Okay, so we're going to make this first card here. It's the Rhino Ready new bundle. But let's go ahead and we'll get the card base going. So this is how your kit would look if you would get it. Be on an envelope all ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and take some of the elements that I've gotten done ahead of time. But I'm going to show you how we'll start with the card base. On this one, I've got Granny Apple Green. And we're first going to score it at 4 and at 8. So I'm actually going to start on the 8-inch side here first, since it's the furthest. Okay, so the score line is the light one. And we'll score, and then we'll move it down to the 4-inch and score. So I've got the other ones already scored. I just wanted you to kind of see this the first time. All right, so for this card, this is kind of the slide layout number 1, where your slide is towards the bottom of the card. we're going to line it up. There's two ways to think about it. You can line up the right side to the 1-inch mark here, or you can come over, if your arm's out, you can line it up to 7.5. So however you want to think about it, we're going to line it up again, either 1 inch here or 7.5 on that side. All right, so now with our cutting blade, we're going to put this at 1 inch. And let's see, I'm going to stand up so I can be on top of it. We're going to cut from 1 inch to 4 inch. And I've already kind of messed this up. Not really mess it up, but I wanted to show another trick here. But anyways, you can cut it one layer or 2 layers, but this is like the basic mechanism. Okay, so that's that. All right. On the other ones, I'll do it a little differently. All right, I'm going to put this off to the side. I will need the trimmer on all of it. All right, so that's the basic base of the slider card, where you have the slide down at the bottom. All right, let's bring in our other elements. And on this card here, I'm using the new bundle from Stampin' Up. It's under the online exclusive. It's Rhino Ready. So it's got these cute little rhino characters and the dies. And ahead of time, I've done some of the prep work because I really want to concentrate on the technique of the slider here. All right, so what we're going to need for the outside, like I said, I started out with an outside layer of 3 3/4 by 5 1/4, and I've already done some stamping on it. And then the pull-out card, part of it, the base here, is 3 3/4 by 5. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll do some designing, and then we'll do some assembly. Okay, so ahead of time, I thought I'd show you what I did. All of these have cute little rhino cutouts for it. So I've gone ahead and stamped the 3 little rhinos, and I have colored those with the colors of the base of the rhino. I used the blend of light gray granite. His horn, I used the light crumb cake, and the little smiley face on the cheek, I used light flirty flamingo, and then the bird is Daffodil Delight. All right, so that's what I did. Stamped, colored, and die cut. And then on this one, I'm also going to use the cute little party hat that comes with it. I hope that doesn't get lost. I'm going to put that off to the side. Okay, so we've got our die cut elements all ready to go. We're going to do all 3 rhinos. And let's make a little, I guess, African kind of background here for it. And hi, Rita. Right, so I'm going to take my Granny Apple Green, and ahead of time on the outside one, I stamped the grass. And we want to kind of think about, like, when we do the this card and this layout, just about the last maybe, I don't know, 2.5 inches will be shown. So I don't need to stamp all of it here, but I'm going to make sure that I kind of stamp from the right to the left. So I'm going to use my Granny Apple Green, just kind of bring that in a little bit. And then I've got, this is the Cloud Punch. And I don't know if you can see that, but I've kind of inked around the Cloud Punch a little bit to make some fluffy clouds. And I'm going to use Balmy Blue and my Stampin' Blend, or my blending brush. So I'll get that. And I'm not even going to tack it down. I'm just going to kind of hold it into place and make a little fluffy cloud on that. So that's how that kind of looks. And I did that ahead of time over on that side. Now I'm going to take my my blending brush, and I'm just going to go all around just to get a little blue sky background. As much or as little as what you'd like. And then I'm going to grab my blending brush that I've kind of designated for green. And with the Granny Apple Green, we're going to do the same thing. Just kind of color in that, call it like a little cheat way of doing it. All right. Got that. So you can make that as light or dark as what you like, but I think that looks good for our class here tonight. And I'm going to get some stamping elements here because I want all of the stamping done before I assemble. So over here, when we pull out our Rhino card, it says, hope your birthday is wild. So with basic gray, I'm going to take that, ink up, and let's see. And I want it exposed here on the right side when we pull it out. Hope your birthday is wild. And then with the stitched shapes, I've got a little banner die cut ahead of time. And this is going to say, it's a great day. And we'll stamp that. Get that off to the side. Okay, that's all of our stamping. All right, so now let's do the assembly. Okay, got that, and that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get a crisp fold on this, just so that you can see where it's at. Alrighty, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and glue this on our section here. This is where we have it trimmed and we have the little 1/2 inch score mark here. We're going to mat it in that area here. And I will recut my my card front. Come on, glue. I bet if we looked at all of my videos, the first time I started the liquid glue, it looks like that. I have it all, like it takes me a second to start it. All right, so we'll go ahead and put this down over top of that. And I'm going to take this back to the trimmer and recut it because we need it to be on the layers. Now, some people like to do it, excuse me, a layer at a time. I find that even with like 2 layers of cardstock, you can get both layers through on your trimmer. All right, so I'm going to line it back up to the 1 inch side, stand up so I can see, go to the 1 inch, bring it down to the 4, and back. Okay. So now when we look on the back side, it has this opening. Okay. All right. So this is where our little 1/2 inch pieces come in, our 1/2 inch by about 2.5. All right. So what we need to do is we need to have a moving mechanism. So with your 2 inch strip about, and I know that this is going to be a little long. What we're going to do is on one side of the strip, we're going to put a dimensional foam dot. And then on the opposite side, we're going to put some tear and tape. So I'm going to feed this into our slot that we made. And go about to that point there. And I'll get one of our Stampin' Dimensionals. And we'll put a foam dot on the outside. Now we don't want to take that off just yet. And then on the opposite side, once it's in, we're going to put some tear and tape. And this tear and tape's going to hold our slide out. Alrighty. And then also while we have it on this side, well, okay, let's start over. We're going to flip this over so that we know which side that we put the tear and tape. On the outer side here, when it's open, we're going to add some tear and tape here. And then we'll have all of our adhesive ready to go. All right, so now we can flip it over and we'll take off our tear and tape. And I want to make sure that I've got our little stamped image going the right way. So it's going to go like this. And you know what's going to be best? Well, anyways, we'll do this again. Yes, that's how I want it. Sorry about that. Okay, so we'll put it tight, and then we're going to line this up to the top and put this down. All right, ahead of time, what we should have done, but I still have time to do. So I need to take a little notch out of this. So this is our side that we're going to pull up here, and we're going to take a little bite out of it. So I can pull this up real quick. I'm going to take just a little bite out of the top. Okay. Alrighty. So then when we line that up, that'll be good. Okay. So we have that right there, and we're good to go. Alrighty. Now we can just assemble our cute little rhinos on here, and we'll go ahead and we can close this up. Okay, so we can do this, fold this down, and fold this over. And when we pull this out, we've got our little slide mechanism. Yay! So cute. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll put some of our rhinos down. All right, so for this one, I can put this right on the card, and I'm going to put the 3D one on last. Okay, so I'm just going to glue this little rhino down right onto the card front. Do that, kind of make sure I clear the mechanism. I'm going to open up this one, and we'll have this guy here. He's going to be hiding when we pull it out. And I don't want those bulky. I want those just to be right. You know, I want to use liquid glue, or you could use seal on it if you wanted to. Okay, put that down. Now I'm ready to take this off. And we'll put our little rhino guy right there. So that way he's just going to be tropping right down the field. It's so cute. And put that in there just again. Oops. Whoops, he caught on the tail. There we go. And we'll take our It's a Great Day banner, get some dimensionals on that. And we'll put that down here. And then I've got some of the 2022-24 in color, the matte decorating dots. And I'm going to use, even though it's not kind of official, the Tahitian Tide. I liked the lighter ones because they're graduated colors on it. And I'm going to, I'll just get a little blue action going. And these little dots here in the corner. And then there's our Rhino Ready little slider birthday card. I love it. I hope you do too. Okay, so this, I'll come back and I'll glue that little tail down so he's nice and tight in there. And so there we go. All right, on the other ones, we'll take the notch out in the appropriate time. But that's how we make the slider card. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you've ever made a slider card before like that. All right, so that would be one way of doing it, where we come down and have it here. Before we leave this card, I also wanted to say that, you know, you could make this orientation in the same one over here to the right-hand side. When you pull it up, you can have it go the opposite way too if you want. I just like the fact that our little guy looked like he's running. Okay. There's our first card. All right, so and I'm using a variety of products here tonight. Some you might have already in your stash, which I think is always kind of a fun thing to have. That way, you know, you can watch a video and go right to watching or to making something yourself. Our next card, we're going to do the center. We're going to do the slide card, but we're going to have a center slide. And I haven't used our best butterflies for a little while, and it's getting, you know, close to springtime, and it's time to kind of get out this stamp set again. There's also Butterfly Kisses designer paper, which is what I used for the card here. All right, so let's go ahead and do this one. So ahead of time, what I've done is I've already got the card base scored. And I've got all of our elements here. So really on the other cards, it's kind of, we're just going to repeat what we've done. Only what we're going to do is cut it in different measurements here on our card base. Okay. So unlike before, what I want to do is go ahead and put down our layering top piece. I think what I did is I got ahead of myself. It's like I needed to have, you know, stamped everything and then put it down and then cut. But I was so anxious to show you guys how to do it. I got way ahead of myself. All right, so I'm using for some reason, I like this busy look. So I picked another one of the busy patterns. This glue is gonna be done for here. Let's see, let's just use some Seal Plus. Probably not smart to put the Seal Plus over the liquid glue, but we're gonna go for it. Okay. So we'll go ahead and put that down. Again, the matting layer is a 3 3/4 by 5. Now we can get out the trimmer. And after we make this card, I'm going to jump up and get another liquid glue. All right, now for our center card, what we want to do for the cutting line, again, I pre-scored it at 4 and at 8. But now where we want to position it is, let me see here. We are going to line it up on the at the 6-inch mark over on our left-hand side. I've got all sorts of stuff in my road all of a sudden. So we'll open up the trimmer again, and 6 inches is here, so I wouldn't have had to, I guess. And all of our cut lines are going to be the same. We're going to cut everything from 1 inch to 4. So that's not going to that's not going to change. Again, it's just where we cut is going to change. So we'll line it up at 6 inches. And then line it up at 1. Drop it down to 4. And I'm going to go back up just to make sure. Okay. So we'll get rid of the trimmer. And then I always kind of just look to make sure that it cut all the way. And you can see that it it wasn't quite, it was almost. And so if you just kind of open it up, that'll work for us. All right, let's get some of our elements all ready to go. Okay, so this time we're going to be cutting from the top. And so I'm going to go ahead, after I glue it down, I do want to notch it out ahead of time. And I'm taking the 2-inch circle punch. If you happen to have, you can have any punch really that will just show the recipient to go ahead and take it. And I want it, like what I'm going to do, let me show you what, make sure that we know. We don't want to take the notch out where the we cut. So whatever side that you can see it on, when I take my little notch, I want to make sure that I don't go too far down so that we go into the cut line. Okay, so we've got that. All right, let's do some stamping. On this one, I'm going to have all the love revealed when we pull it out. So this is the 3 3/4 by 5. All the love. And then I'm using Sending Good Vibes. I just got a piece of scrap basic white. This is 3/4 by whatever my scrap was. And I'm going to stamp first, right in the middle. Got a little glue on that side. And then I'm going to take my paper snips, and we're just going to angle cut. So I'm just going to angle cut and then angle cut. And get rid of those. Okay. All right, so just like before, I'm going to take my 1/2 inch piece of scrap here, and I'm going to put it inside and see how this scrap goes beyond the score line here. We want to just take our scissors and, we want to shorten that up a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to flip this over again and get my dimensional on it. Do that. And then I'm going to, and then when you have it on this side, when you pull it, the dimensional will stop it. So that way you can definitely make sure, where you're at with it. And I'll get the tear and tape. And we'll do this. So once you kind of get the idea of the tear and tape on one side and the dimension on the other, you could prep that ahead of time, but I found it, I don't want to say confusing, but it just helped me to do it in this step when I was making these. Oops, take that off. And now that it's notched out, we can see the top. Oh, thanks. I'm glad that you like the cards. And now we can line this up to the top here. I'm going to kind of just peek this over, make sure it's, straight, and put it down. Okay. And then on this side here, we got tear and tape on this side. So if you make these cards, make sure you got plenty of tear and tape. They're actually quite easy, and they're fun, and they're interactive. So who doesn't like to get an interactive card when they, when you open up your mail or you have it in your gift bag? Whoops, put that down first. Okay. All right, so there's that. Now we just need to make our decoration on the front. Ahead of time, I've die cut out a crushed curry, a scallop circle. And then from the butterfly dies, the best, I die cut from the paper. I used the paper to die cut out the images. So on this pattern here, some of the dies will cut out the butterfly. So that's what I did there. So this isn't stamped or anything. This is just die cut right from the paper. And I'm going to really embrace my, let's see. Yes, I'm going to do dimensionals on the back of the wings. And I'm going to position this where it's the top of it's just a little high, because I'm going to add the sentiments yet down at the bottom. And that's the other side of it. So this paper is really fun. Again, it's kind of revisiting from the annual catalog a little bit. I played with it about a year ago, and it's time to bring it back. All right, so now we've got our, and then this is die cut out of Night of Navy. And oh my gosh, I'll see if I can get some liquid glue action going. There we go. And we'll put our little butterfly body on. And then I just want to be able to tuck this, the sentiment down like so. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right on the circle. That way I know where it's at. I always tell people not to glop, and then I glopped on that one. Okay, sending good vibes. Such a funky, what do I say, paper and such. I'm going to bring this down so I can see everything. There we go. All right, time to take off our dimensional. And now we can center this. And now, when we pull it up, oh my gosh, look how cute that is. We have our little butterfly fluttering right on up, sending good vibes, all the love. My dad's been in and out of the hospital, and even though it's not necessarily a masculine card, I'm just going to kind of go and say like, hey, Pops, still sending you good vibes, all the love in the world. And then on these, if you wanted to write a little more, you could always make another backing here and do some more, you know, handwritten stuff on that. All right, so that's our second card. Hooray. Okay, so that's like a second way of doing the layout. And now our third way is to have the cut measurement. So if we wanted to, we could have some double movement here. So on this, I've got our little busy bees. They're just, you know, again, it's springtime and they're just all around on this. So this, this bundle or this stamp set and die is from the Honeybee Home. And you have all of these images here and then the dies on the back. So it's a little bit reminiscent of our Dainty Delight dies and such that are on back order right now. So if you really wanted to kind of have that look, this one may be a good alternative if you wanted to do that. All right, so let's go ahead, and this is what kind of your packet would look like minus the stamping on it. I've got it kind of changed around the colors just a little bit to stay all within the Subtles color palette. All right. So again, on our card base, started out with the standard slide card base of 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 and at 8. If nothing else, you guys will know, I know that it'll score at 4 and 8. Yes, yes, we can do the same thing on all of it. Have our layering inside at 3 3/4 by 5. And our outside layer is 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. This is from the Subtles Collection Designer Series paper pack. So you get an assortment. So those are some of the papers that are in that. And just like before, we're going to go ahead and, for me, I like to go ahead and put that down first. Just so that you guys can see where the score lines are, I'm kind of, you know, burnishing them a little bit ahead of time. I wouldn't do this on my own because I don't need to have the score lines folded just yet when we go to the trimmer. All right. But I thought this flower pattern that's in the Designer Series paper pack is kind of fun since I wanted to put the floral images on it. Oh, I threatened to go get a new one, but I didn't. Okay, hang on with me just a quick second, please. I had local class last night and I had all of my air quoting good ones out on the table across the room so that the full ones were there. And then at my workstation, I kind of take the ones that are almost empty and use them. That way I can shake them down, but I forgot to go grab one of the fuller ones. There we go. Much better. All right, so we'll go ahead and layer this. And this is So Saffron Designer Series or cardstock. And then I'm using the matching So Saffron pattern from the Subtles collection. And then ahead of time, since we know we're going to use our Terran tape, I can go ahead and get that on here. I am warming up now to talking. So all of this is coming out so much smoother than at first here. And we'll take our, oops, let's cut it first and then we'll do our notch. All right, so to do double ones, I've figured out where to cut this for us. We are going to cut 2 times and we'll line it up at 6 3/4 and 5 1/4. So I am going to open it up here first. Okay, so 6 3/4, and we always are going to cut from 1 to 4. Okay, so 6 3/4, 1 to 4, and then I'm going to come back up. Okay, lift up my thing, and I'm going to scooch it down to 5 1/4. Put this down, line it up at 1 to 4, and back up. Okay. So now we have 2 cut lines in the middle of the section here. And see, I have no problem cutting both of them through at once. And I like having this on, that way I don't have to cut it, put the paper on, and recut it. That way, one fell swoop, we're good to go. All right. Oh, everyone's super fun card. Cute card, thanks. Not so easy for me. Hopefully, if you can, rewatch this after going through it a couple of times and then trying it again. Grab some scrap paper and just a card base and just give it a go. All right, so ahead of time on our honeybee home, I've got the 2 honeybees. Where's my other honeybee? There it is. And the honeycomb. And I thought I would just kind of share with you a little tip that I do, and I didn't do it on this one, and I wish I would have. I went ahead and stamped it in the Memento black ink, and then I colored it with some subtle blends. So I used the Highland Heather, I used the Seafoam Green, and I used the So Saffron, the dark one. And then I came in, whoops, not that one. And then I came in with the Balmy Blue. And before I die cut, I just went on the outline of everything to kind of highlight it. And then I die cut because there's white spaces that you see here. And we'll just kind of do a little compare and contrast if we like the blue to pop the background or if we like the white. Okay, so I thought I just would share with you an option to do it that way. All right, so let's see here. We'll get our paper here ready to go. And before I forget, I'm going to take my circle punch and make my little notch, flip it over on the back side so I can see where my cut lines are. And again, we don't need much. We just need a little. If you don't have a circle punch, you can use other punches too, and I'll kind of share, I'll show a look that I did on this card here when we get all done. All right, so for this one, I have the sentiment from the stamp set that says, "You're the nicest." And I'm going to stamp that with Highland Heather up on top. Hopefully that's straight. I didn't stand up to do it. Ah, excellent. And on my sample card, I didn't stamp the flowers close enough here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stamp off and stamp right over top of it. That way I don't have to worry about it not being seen. So just a nice little subtle look to it. So that was with the So Saffron ink as well. All right. So now we have our double. All right, so now it might even be best on this one to go ahead and let's put down the flower element first so we know where our bees need to go. And hopefully I'm grabbing the fuller of the, of the liquid glue. And let's see, I'm going to put that about right here. Okay. So now with this one, our bees are a little big on this. If I just use the 1/2 inch like I did before. And so with our scissors, if you want to, you can cut that down a little bit. That 1/2 inch is just kind of a suggestion. I'm going to trim off just a little bit. Nobody even sees it. And bring my bee back in, and that looks a lot better. All right, so for this bee, I'm going to have it start about halfway. And I'm going to put the dimensional on this like so. And then I'm going to put this one about down towards the bottom. Oops, let's take a little bit of that off. I'm kind of showing taking some of this off, so I don't want you to say like Dee said I had to use a 1/2 inch. You know, it's a scrap. It's a scrap piece that nobody sees. So if you need to trim that up a little bit, depending on what you're moving up and down, that's okay. That's perfectly fine. And if this is a little too small for a regular dimensional, you can cut it in half or use the minis. I'm going to see if this one will go on it. I think it'll be just fine. All right. So now I'm going to flip it over. And you can see where it's overlapping the score line. We want to trim that down. And trim that down over here. And it's time for tear and tape. I would love it if you guys, even if you think the double one is maybe a little too intimidating, please try either the first one or the second one where it's one moving one, or like one slot or slit on it, because I think once you get one under your belt, you're going to think it's really not that bad. It really isn't. I know sometimes when I first started out, it was really intimidating for me to pick up the blade and move it to another part of the card instead of just cutting it. But once you get in the groove of and feel comfortable doing that, it really does open up a world of other designs that you can do. Okay, so I've got those like that. Make sure I've got it on the top, lining the top of this to the top of the card. Putting it down. And when you put it down, you just want to make sure you don't have any, like if this was long and it was sticking out from your white layer here, just take your snips and cut it beforehand. All right, fold this down. We'll take off our tear and tape. Fold this over. Are we getting the hang of it? Are you guys feeling kind of more comfortable after seeing 3 of them? I hope so. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take the dimensionals off of the top here of our honeycomb. And we'll get our cute little bees flying around. Thank you, bees, for pollinating and making our spring fun. And then we'll give it a test. You're the nicest. And then I'll get this. Yep, it's moving. It's not catching. Love it. And then on this one, I thought I'd just change up the texture. On this one here, I use the Fresh Freesia ink and the bow. So that's one look. And on this one, I did the Highland Heather. And I'm going to use the linen thread bow that I made ahead of time. Kind of make it a little more natural since we're kind of talking nature. And put it down here just to give it a little something else. And I am going to add a little Wink of Stella to the bees. I just love bees that have a little sparkle to them. And we'll really get that up. It kind of makes it almost look fuzzy. And get our flowers just to add a little sparkle. Okay, I'm going to bring in the other one, and you can let me know if you like the, like if you like it white or if you like the blue background on it. So there's that. I have a couple. I don't know why I've got some frowny faces on there, but I hope that you like it. I hope you do. So that is our slider cards. I'm going to bring in our other ones that we made here tonight. Okay, so this is like the double slider. So we got two little elements sliding up with it. We've got our center slider card pulling up. And then we have our slider card where it's on the bottom or down below. And then have a little reveal when we pull it out that way. All right. Well, that's our class tonight, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed that. And like I said, I really want you to give me, let me know if you decide to do it. I'm going to go ahead and get my face back on here again. All right. So I hope you have a great week, and that, we got St. Patty's Day coming up here in a couple of days. So everyone have a great St. Patrick's Day too. And, if you go out and celebrate, just be safe and careful, but have a great time. And I'll go through and I'll look at all of the comments and stuff, and, and just say hi to everybody that way too. Well, have a great night, everybody, and happy crafting. Bye-bye.